Welcome to part 2, where we're continuing to perfect a West Coast tidal pattern. Much of this week was spent on trial and error trying to understand my flip, turn, flotation contraption and how it's affected by buoyancy, the rising and lowering of the tides, the curves of the beam, the hills and the valleys, because water has its own rules. It's its own game. It's not like land. My design consultant, AP Cat, aka KOCO, is back with us on this episode to consult with me on the design progress. Here's my second slide beam tidal design, and also my second flip turn flotation contraption, where instead of a rubber C-clamp, I now have a plastic Plex C-clamp. I'll show you this stuff in the later part of this video. So KOCO has just decided that the flotation design needs more work and that we should start working towards the actual tidal beam design. Well, let me tell you, I think this design is out of this world. But it's really difficult to do. I'm learning a lot about it. But probably the most interesting and challenging of the iterations was that of the C-clamp. You can get this from Home Depot. I got mine from a 3/4 inch rubber tube, and then I cut out this opening to make a C. This is the C-clamp with the metal inserts inside of it to make it rotate. Basically, that's from a metal pin that I cut and then bend. Anyways, with the C-clamp, I attached it to my design model, and I encountered the problem of buoyancy. So every time I push the floating model under the water, the buoyancy would pull at the C-clamp as it slid along the slide beams, and it eventually would pull it off. One design iteration I tried was taking those metal pins and poking them through the C-clamp and then bending them at the top here so that this would become really rigid, the C curve of it. But I was just taking one force and moving it to another area. Still, this top is soft and not brittle and hard. I even went as far as to do an iteration where I took plastic foam and I glued it so as to try to keep the C part of it from opening. And again, I tried using basswood to capture, to try to contain the C part of it. But now it's just looking ridiculous, and I'm just complicating the design. Finally, I discovered at Home Depot a material called Plex. This is, it's like plastic. It's not hard plastic, but hard enough. And you can cut it and poke holes through it. This is my most recent model. where I cut and sculpted it, and as I would take the model under the water, buoyancy would occur, and this would still hold firm and allow my design to slide along the beams under the water. So I'm going to use this in the future model. APCAT would be more happy if I explain why this design interests me and why it's important. So let's do that. The idea of a natural non-electric design moved by nature was inspirational to me. Water can move and transport large objects, and my tidal design yields to the power of tidal water to move it. Moving with the tides brings one a deeper connection with the coastline. When the tide is low, you can see reefs, fish, and the bay floor. Inserting a center glass floor would be a great attraction. The square tidal design will be like a tidal clock, making one full revolution every 48 hours. This floating tidal design could be a pure attraction for coastal cities and towns. People like floating restaurants. Anyone I know has enjoyed a dinner on a floating restaurant. Neon slide beams below the water, high tides, will light up the base of the restaurant. Neon slide beams above the water, low tide, will be easily seen from the shore. All this would be a great environment to educate young and old on marine life. Just lots of benefits in my eyes about this design. So for the third upcoming video, which I'll post on Sunday night, I hope to have a fully functioning actual tidal beam design for my floating contraption that will also be a more complete restaurant to successfully make a full revolution on. It's going to be complicated, but I know I can do it, so stay tuned. And thanks for watching. KOCO, I love you.